This is WAW. What a week.
What a week with DJ Fresh.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to an extraordinary edition of WOW What a Week. Ordinarily, we'd be talking hashtag Politrix with Botsang Muilwa, but he's down with a very bad flu bug. So this past week, I was at the amazing Comic-Con in Cape Town. And in between getting my geek on, I got to hang out with actors Marquand, Jason R. Moore, as well as artist and creator Loyiso Mkize. This is what went down.
Yo. Hey. Can you hear me? You listening to WAW. What a week.
What a week.
Considering something he tweeted a little while ago, I should be starting this interview in isiXhosa. But for now, we'll stick to English. We managed to pull him off the golf course, so please help me give a wow welcome to Jason R. Moore.
What's up, man? It's such an honor, man. What's up, Cape Town? Oh, no, y'all gotta turn it up. Y'all gotta turn up a little bit more, man.
Please make some noise for the Punisher.
Come on, Cape Town. It's Saturday. We got one more day. Let's turn up the energy. Let's do this.
Brother man, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Hold on. Let me put these headphones on.
Oh, yes, those are the...
There we go. How are you?
In fact, I'm going to jump straight into it. You've got a business in Cape Town.
Yes.
What's going on? What is that?
Look, so we decided to open up a creative lab here to get in the middle of inventors and creators and manufacturing. So we want to make it easier for people to get items made either through metal, plastic, resin, or whatever, for whatever component it is, for whatever invention that they created. So we set up a lab here in Montague Gardens. We are open for business. South Africa was the perfect location. It's in a very vital part of the world where you can get to the east and the west. And it was, the idea came behind helping ourselves create our inventions. And we see a hole in the market and was like, all right, this is going to help other people.
Yes, sir.
So then we opened our facility up to other people.
So if I want access to your studio, what do I do? Do I send an email? Do I show up at Montague Gardens? How does it work?
Right. So you can go to the website, you send an email, and then what they would do is set up an appointment. You do a tour. You'll meet our engineers. You have like consulting. We'll figure out how we can help you, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I often talk about how a lot of kids that are born either in the inner city or born in a township, for a lot of them, they don't grow beyond the influence they see in that environment. But for you, you decided that I might be born and raised in New York, but I need to get out of here. What informed that?
Well, just to clarify, I was born in Jamaica.
Oh yeah, you're born in Jamaica, raised in you.
Yeah. So I was born in Jamaica, which is much like many places here on the continent of Africa. It is a third world country. My parents had the know-how. They said, hey, to themselves, we need to leave here so that I can give my children the opportunity. They get much credit for that. They didn't have like higher education, anything like that, and they just had the ambition to do it. And so then I grew up in New York. My father was able to acquire a bunch of rental properties and kind of take care of his family. But from that, I don't know, I guess I get it from my parents in some kind of way where I was like, I got to see as much as the world as possible. What's in front of me can't be all that there is.
Yes.
And I didn't grow up in the nicest neighborhood, so obviously I was like, I want nicer things. I was like, I would see things on TV and say, hey, I want to live like that.
Yeah.
Right? Those Saved by the Bell kids. Y'all know that show, Saved by the Bell? Oh, I'm probably dating myself. Saved by the Bell. I was in New York, and then that show was like set in LA, and the kids had like, it was always sunny. It was like they had the good life. I was like, I want that.
Yes.
I want, and so I always sought to find different things in the world, and it was kind of like push the envelope as far as I can in terms of what I could see, show people I could meet, so I get like a global perspective on things.
If you have any questions for Jason, please put your hand up so our mic can find you.
Yeah, don't be shy. Ask your questions. I won't be me.
let's talk about the Punisher. How did the Punisher change the trajectory you're on right now?
Well, the Punisher was significant.
Yeah.
You know, it's like as an actor out there, you're always trying to find that role.
Yeah.
There's for every actor, there is that role, right? And you'll get a bunch of roles, but one is going to be that role, right? And so when the Punisher came about, which I didn't know was the Punisher at first, because Marvel is always secretive about how they do things.
Yeah.
So I found out later on, but then once the Punisher happened, I remember getting a call from Jeff Loeb, who was running the studio at the time, and he calls you personally and he says, he's like, are you ready for your life to change forever?
Wow.
And then you say yes, and he says, welcome to Marvel, right? So that's the call that he gives everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's like, now you're like, oh, can I curse?
We have kids here.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, so now I'm in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big thing as an actor. You're like, all right, now I'm part of this massive team. The endorphins are firing.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like all that you worked for, you made it. Anyone who's worked hard for anything and then attained it, you know the feeling. It is the same feeling. And so once that happened, now I knew I was in the right place.
Yep.
It kind of validated my approach to the work, all that hard work. And so I was like, all right, I'm in the right place. Let me keep going.
When you get the gig that changes your life, like Jeff said, what's the first thing you buy when the check clears?
First thing you buy is nothing, okay? If you want to keep that money, you buy nothing. That's the first thing you buy.
Yeah.
But but here's what the truth is: you got to get it out your system. And I'm being real. I'll be honest with y'all right now. You got to get the fun stuff out of your system. So sometimes you might need to buy that car. You might need to take that crazy trip. You might need to stay in that extremely expensive hotel or buy yourself that watch that you want. Get it out your system, right? To say you did it, but please get bored of it or you will get broke. You will go broke.
And MC Hammer broke.
Yeah. So then you got to start to consider, all right, what's the long-term applications to this money? Where do you want to invest it? What types of investment? What if you don't get the next job? How are you going to secure 5 years of your life?
Yeah, because the next job is not guaranteed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's like you get all this money up front, but you have to be responsible. You have to say, all right, cool. I got X amount. I have to live this amount lifestyle, right? Knowing that if I live at this amount, that could take me for 5 years of say if I didn't get any work, right?
So what you're saying is discipline is very key.
Discipline is very key.
Yeah.
But if you don't know it, sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself around people that do know.
Yeah.
And you got to be real with yourself. I don't know how to work with money. I don't understand money. I don't know how to have money make money for me. I got to put myself around those people.
Yeah.
Ask questions, Google, ask Chat GPT or whatever. That guy seems to know everything.
Yeah. So the Punisher's fly. We're all loving it. Flip, even Eminem is loving it. And they cancel it.
Those bastards.
How did you find out that we are running out of runway now?
So here's the thing. Man, I mean, we were talking about season 3 while we were doing season 2.
Yeah.
Some of the episodes were already written.
Yeah.
Right? We got the gist of the storyline of where it was going. Curtis was about to do damage, man. Curtis was like, man, let me tell y'all real quick. He's going to probably lose his girlfriend, and then he's going to join the Punisher and try to fight bad guys. It's about to be, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
But, corporate wars, Disney wanted their stuff back. Netflix was like, no. It's like, if you take it off our network, then forget your show. We don't want it. And so it's like all this stuff. People in suits in boardrooms,
Yeah.
who rarely come down to the level of the creator or the actor was making decisions.
Yeah.
And it was very impactful too. They took a lot of people out of work because of that. So it's all part of the business though.
Sure.
It's all part of the business.
So Eminem is a massive fan of yours. You found out, right at the end of the runway.
Yeah.
Who do you geek out over?
Man, I love the actors that that made me feel something.
Yeah.
Like when you watch them on screen and you feel something, right? So I mean, it's gonna be the obvious ones too. So of course Denzel,
Yeah.
you know, your Morgan Freemans, Al Pacino,
Yeah.
Tom Hardy. Like I steal so much from Tom, he doesn't even know. But it's a form of respect. I'll see something Tom, I was like, I'm doing that. I'm gonna do that. Right there. I'll take that note and I'll try to remember. But there's many of you know, if you know, I'll see them. They're like, you know, my peers and stuff. Where if I see them, I show them tremendous respect.
Sure.
Just what they accomplish and the respect I have for their work.
Yes, sir. Any questions? Do we have a mic? Yes, right there. Thank you.
Yeah, just keep talking. I think they'll work it.
Yeah, we can hear you. Just talk, brother.
So what's this like? I look at thought and say, about this it's 10 years to the power for this figure stuff. But let's say is
Yeah, so John's a teddy bear. He's a teddy bear, man. He has his puppy with him all the time. Bam, he has his pooch with him all the time. He's a puppy. The dog is well trained. When we're working, depending on the role, when we was doing punches, there's like intense moments, right? But John was a leader. Like, you know, he protected everybody else, his supporting cast. He protected everybody else on the cast from like studio heads and things like that. He was like, if there's any issue, you come to me, I'll go talk to them. Right? And so suppose they came on set with some corny adjustments. John be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. He's like, don't worry, guys, I'll take care of it. And he fought for us, right? And so for the lead actor, the number one on the call sheet to do that, it's a really good thing, man. So John is an absolute gentleman. He's who you would want to do a show with. And so I got nothing but good things to say about John. And the fact that, you know, he always had an issue that I ate cookies because he had to stay in like crazy shape and I'm busy eating cookies. And he was like, what grown man eat cookies, man? But yeah, he used to bust my balls out, you know, on the sweets on set.
Any other questions? At the back, where's the mic?
Thank you. Shin Kaiser Peace Town. We are
It was probably one of the, I mean, it's hard, just so many scenes. It's probably one of the scenes where I had a gun, run around town, shoot and stuff. Because it's like, you know, you get to be a kid, man. It's like I would read Punisher comics. This was like, when Daredevil came out and Daredevil was a hit, I was like, man, they need to make Punisher. And then I got to be on that show.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this is something I would watch. So it was like, everything just kind of like lined up and synced up. I was like, I get to be a kid on set, running around playing cops and robbers. All the physicality that was involved in it was you know, it's, you know, as a guy, is like what I wanted to do. He's like, it was fun. Every day on set was fun.
Sure. Now, for many people, politics of color are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And a heavy topic, but it's a topic we can't not talk about. In fact, many say a child will often dream based on, do I see someone that looks like me doing something that inspires me? So, for instance, you visiting your older brother in Atlanta and seeing that, oh, flip, there's rich black people. You know, you hadn't seen that before. Now we're seeing black superheroes. Now we're seeing a black Disney princess. How important is that?
Well, I think it's important for people to see it. I think it's important for adults to expose the youth to that.
Yeah.
In context, because yes, when we see, then we can do.
Yes.
When someone does something extraordinary, it then becomes easy for people behind them to do it, right? And so it's vital that we show different diversity, like a diverse group of people on screen. It's important to also teach them that they can create it.
Yeah.
They can own the studio too. They can do it all if they apply themselves.
Yeah.
You give them the proper tools. Proper education is first. Give them a chance. They got to at least have a chance So that starts with an education.
Yeah.
If they're not getting an education on par with other kids their age around the globe, I'm not talking about their city or town, on the globe, then the chances are dwindling for them to achieve those jobs, right? And so it's like, all right, but that's on adults. Adults got to do that. Kids can't go out there and form their own education system, right? So you got to educate the kids first. Once you do that, the literary rate is like at a level, right? Yeah. Literacy is at a level. And then that population is, so as the population gets smarter, better choices, better politicians, better lawmakers, better everything.
Better world.
Better world.
Yeah.
And so I believe education should be free across the planet in terms of every kid should get education everywhere.
Sure.
We have to make that happen. And then once they do that, then they can see opportunities. They can have a vision. They know that they can do something.
Yeah.
What we got to give them the tools. We got to show them that it's there.
Show them the possibility.
We got to show them the possible.
Now, your older brother was in Atlanta when Atlanta was at her wildest during the Freaknik era.
Yo, how do you know this about my brother, bro? Like, do you know that guy?
I know your brother because you used to visit your brother in Atlanta. How did you not get caught up in how wild Atlanta was in the early 90s?
Man, let me tell you something. Y'all don't know about Atlanta, but Atlanta is a wild place back then, right?
Yeah.
So I had decided to be an actor. And when I went to Atlanta was not where that was.
Yes.
I don't know what gave me the discipline to say, hey, this is a lot of fun here in Atlanta. Seeing my brother go to Morehouse, my sister go to Clark. All my boys either went to Morehouse or Clark.
Yeah.
And you see all this black wealth like that you never see. Even growing up in the States, you're like, oh, I know there was rich black people.
Yeah.
Just regular.
Yeah.
Right? And so it was like, seeing all that, he's like, all right, you might want to be in that area. But I was like, nah, I need to be an actor. I need to learn how to be an actor. So I was like, I got to do it on stage. And stage was in New York. And that's so I was like, I stayed in New York and did not go to school in Atlanta. And that's probably the best choice. I'll probably have like 4 kids right now. Wouldn't be here.
Nothing wrong with 4 kids. When you'd be
Nothing wrong with 4 kids, but I would have had them at 20, 22, 23.
And you'd be in the Freaknik documentary come out soon.
When this documentary come out, y'all don't know about this. When this documentary come out, there's going to be lawyers and doctors and politicians, senators. Their faces are going to be on that video, shaking their ass on a car top, like on a hood of a car, man. That's going to be crazy. I'm sorry sorry, kids.
What is it about stage that puts stage actors at an advantage over any other actor?
Well, because the stage is right here. It's right now. It's like right now, as I'm talking to you guys, my mind is running like a million miles per hour.
Yeah.
So I don't say something to get canceled. So I don't say anything to offend nobody, and be real.
Sure.
And still communicate, convey thoughts. When you're on stage, the audience is right there.
Yeah.
You have to be real.
Yeah.
There is no do-overs. So you have like the whole play is in your mind. Your understanding of what you need to do is in your mind. It's clear. So you use more of your brain space on stage.
Sure.
Because there is no turning back. It's like, it requires, without you even trying, you have to use more of your
It's a bare minimum.
Yeah. And so you got to make sure your speech is clear. You got to make sure you're moving properly. You got to be aware of your space. Meanwhile, you got to tell that story, right? Sometimes you even got to be emotional right on stage. And sometimes people are walking by and like you're doing this emotional scene and then someone coughs and gets up and runs out the auditorium. You're like, all right, that could be distracting, but you got to keep your focus. So for stage, it requires a level of focus that when it translates to theater, like to camera, it's easy. It's just like no one can break your focus. You got all this discipline.
It's controlled.
It's very controlled. It's like you've developed all these skills in like this crucible that nothing can break when you do a film. Nothing is distracting enough off you.
Your views on cancel culture?
All right, cancel culture is, so you try to get me canceled. That's why you asked that question. Now, I think what has happened is people have taken a lot of things offensive. That may not be someone's intention, sure, right? And so it has led to some people who maybe shouldn't have been canceled, right? Like, I don't believe everything that someone does back in the day should necessarily destroy their life from currently. But there are some things where some things are heinous and crazy, and you probably should be held accountable for some of that stuff, right? But I just think that people need to like approach it a little more objectively. Imagine if it was them, right? So you say, you know, is this a personal attack towards me? So really ask yourself that question. And if it isn't, then you got to kind of think of a different way. Sure. Right? Not everybody, this is hard. Sitting up here talking to you guys off the cuff is hard. Like, so people who say things, they speak on TV, it's difficult. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And you may sit and hide, like, after you're off stage, you might, I said something stupid. I'm sure that happens to people, right?
But then it's halfway around the world.
It's like, no, you missed. Like, I want people to kind of like sit back and really approach things objectively and say, all right, what's this person intentionally trying to offend me?
In the context of the time, the context of the emotion.
Yes. But like, when your emotions get high, so if you react to some of this stuff emotionally, then your intelligence is going to go low. It's either or. And I rather stay on the side of having an even temperament and approaching things intelligently, rather than hyper emotionally. Because once your emotions get here, you get yourself in trouble.
So count to 10 first.
Count to 10, sit back, think, woosah, rub your ears like Martin or something, and then just kind of approach it level head.
What's next for Jason Armour?
So I have my comic book company. It comes from the sense of like, hey, I can't wait for Hollywood to give me opportunities.
Yes.
Right. And I remember I was speaking to a South African guy here, who was like, how can South Africans tell their story? I was like, tell them,
just do it.
Clean your space.
Sure.
I was like, South Africa, they got a diverse group of people. There's interesting stories here, and people care about the stories.
Sure.
Right? They're human beings, right? We want the same things.
So what is A Prayer for the Hunted?
A Prayer for the Hunted is a comic book that I created with my business partner, Justin Evans. And again, it's coming from a place where it's like, I want to tell the stories that I want to tell. I want to be able to have the control over my destiny. I want to be able to control my products. And so this is a comic book that we're pushing. It comes out, the graphic novel comes out in October. It is open for pre-orders. I have free issues here I'm be handing out, so you can get your free preview issues. You can see the work that we do here is of high quality. We don't cut any corners. Again, Justin and I went to the factories in Taiwan, and we auditioned factories to say, hey, this is how we want you to print our books. And we made sure that they was able to meet that standard. In terms of the artists, we make sure that the artwork is amazing, and the storytelling. You can't forget about storytelling.
Yes, sir.
And it's all these elements. When I see these massive studios, I'm like, I want to be that studio. I want to be able to make those kinds of decisions, right? And being a little guy like me, I hope I can encourage people to do that stuff on your own. Take your destiny in your own hands. Grab that steering wheel and you drive that. I was going to curse it. You drive that car.
So who should get A Prayer for the Hunted?
If you're into comic books, if you're into storytelling, if you like independently created stuff, you should get the book. If you're a fan of The Punisher, this is a spy espionage thriller. If you like into that Jack Bauer sort of Jason Bourne kind of stuff, this is stuff for you. But then if you just want to support, if you get the book. So awesome. I'll be handing out free copies. I got 3 right now that are signed. I'll probably just give it to a couple people in the audience. But yeah.
All right, we are out of time, brother, but thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Thanks for being an inspiration to a lot of kids out there. And like you're saying, if no one is going to open the door for you, make your own door, create your own door, and walk through the damn door.
Kick that door down.
Absolutely. And that's it. We are done our Comic-Con Cape Town Wow What a Weekend broadcast. Make some noise to Jason R. Moore.
Thank you, Cape Town. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.
This is
What a week.
What a Week. This kid really kicks.
Some people would ask why there aren't many superheroes of color, specifically ones of African descent. Our next guest went, I'll just go ahead and create my own. Please welcome someone who's a superhero in his own right, artist and creator, Loyiso Mkize. Loy, have a seat, put on your headphones. How you doing, brother man? Okay. Comic-Con Cape Town, what were expectations and what are you experiencing right now?
Comic-Con Cape Town. Okay, so I've been an artist and an illustrator and attending these since 2014.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to live up to every year because these conventions only get bigger. The culture only gets bigger. Mm-hmm. South Africa's been really embracing it. Our youth really has this opportunity every year to live out their wildest imagination.
Yes, sir.
So Comic-Con Cape Town this year, we had big shoes to fill, but I think everyone can agree that, we definitely did the thing.
So growing up, what were the comics that kept you out of trouble?
Hello, my first comic book was Batman.
Yeah.
You know what? When you're a comic book lover and comic book reader, you're bound to stay indoors anyway. Yes. So it kept me out of trouble in that sense. Batman, Superman, the X-Men particularly, because I had so many characters that I could relate to and really enjoy then.
And all of your faves in one comic book.
And all of your faves in one comic book.
Yes.
So it's a great reading medium, by the way,
Sure.
comic books. So as a fan and as a practitioner now, I can see the value.
Who is Kwezi? Let's talk Kwezi. Who on earth is Kwezi?
Kwezi is South Africa's first superhero story, developed and launched 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a 19-year-old city dweller. He's a 19-year-old city dweller in Johannesburg. We call it Gold City there. He discovers he's got powers, and he obviously becomes this anti-superhero in the beginning. So it's all about using his heroics for a social media following, some, brand endorsements and all that. It's only after he meets his companions, Mohau, Azania, and Koi, that he realizes there's a calling behind of this. So it's a great superhero story in our context, South African context.
Sure. But within that context, because we're in a global village, you're still up against DC Comics. We're still up against Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
How's the journey been taking Kwezi from, your bedroom to, Kwezi's growing?
Right. No one tells you how hard it is, but it also it starts off as a passion project. It costs you nothing to do what you love to do anyway.
Yes, sir.
So, it's a couple of leaps, but eventually, after self-publishing, which means that you are not only sacrificing your time, but a bit of your extra change in your pocket, to print these comic books for a growing audience in South Africa. What happens also is that people pick it up. There are people that are fans. There are also people that are looking and watching, and we're lucky to start getting publishing, joining a publisher and getting distribution nationwide in 2016. And for the first time, I saw Kwezi next to Black Panther, as I remember it, and exclusive books for the first time in 2016. And I think that's literally what it is. It's putting the book out there, and people sort of will come in and assist it and then put it to where it needs to be, which is on the map.
Now, you started Kwezi in 2015. 2016 already you were in shelves against other big comic books.
Yeah.
Why did you not give up when it was toughest?
Well, I can't really take credits for, I didn't give up. I think it's just you're compelled in many ways to do your work.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because you love it, number one, but also the people that read it and the growing readership realizes, okay, these guys are up to something that's actually big. Remember, before this, there wasn't a South African superhero that looks like us and speaks like us and shares the same environment as us. So the imagination was picked up. And coupled with that, there was this new wave of Marvel and DC films, adaptations from comic books. And now you've got these on screen. So people's imagination in South Africa was like, okay, do we have, number one, our own stories here? And if we do, what are those stories and do they really apply? So we were smack bang in the middle of this new wave of stuff. So I don't think there was ever an opportunity to step back and be like, I'm so exhausted. I don't think we can actually do this.
Yes.
I think it's only been a process of going from strength to strength. So that upward trajectory and momentum has kept us from, heading up.
Kwezi, the movie, what are the chances?
The chances are really good. I think because we've managed to stay on board and then push the product for so long, it's only a matter of time. In fact, we've since 2018, we've been having back-to-back conversations with showrunners or potential showrunners. So just that interest and that exposure to people, whether they happen or not, what happens is that you develop a shorthand for dealing with people that will take the adaptation of the films. That's the natural progression anyway from the comic book. Whether it's Superman, Batman, or whatever, they started off as comic books. So I think we will. I trust that someone out there is number one, got the budget, number one, has also got the passion for the project to put it on screens. And I'd love it for it to be a proudly South African production.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that will also send a really good message out to the rest of the world that we've got our stuff.
You'd get a bigger budget from Hollywood, though.
I know, but let's just put it like this, right? What if this is our shot as South Africa?
Yes.
What if
To do all of it.
Yeah.
On our terms.
On our terms.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to be pioneers in that sense. Even if we don't score the bag right now, but perhaps there's a bigger bag coming down the line.
In fact, watching a District 9, for instance, in your geek mind, what was going through your mind seeing all of this unfolding in front of us?
I thought it was possible. An alien film that is shot in Johannesburg, in the outskirts of Jozi, and you've got that as a background. And you've got characters that are South African proper.
Yes.
And the director South African as well, obviously. So Neil Blomkamp. So it was okay, so this is clearly possible, but it's just a matter of who's got the nerve to do it.
Yeah.
Who's got the nerve to actually follow through. So and I think now versus then when that movie was launched, we've got so many more people, so many more showrunners, so many more platforms to the Netflixes now. There are so many people that are interested in South African stories. So it's about who's we've got it.
In fact, all of the streaming networks seem to have more budget than most. So there is hope.
It's a great place, and it's a great time to have unique and broadly South African content right now ready to be picked up.
Now, with everything that's happening in this country, which city, town, or township do you feel needs a superhero? And what would that superhero look, sound, and feel like?
That's a heck of a question, I must say, because off the bat, I was thinking, every city usually has a superhero, and then they sort of govern and look after, the outskirts and everything around.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking Durban.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the heat. I'm thinking the water. I'm thinking the guy on a surfboard, almost Silver Surfer-like, but at the same time also Aquaman.
Okay.
I think that would probably be cool for Durban. A superhero
Is he Zulu? Is he Indian?
He's gonna be Zulu. You can also imagine he's wearing umkele there.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And he's got a fin on top like that. I think it'd have to be Zulu, man. Bring it home. Cape Town, obviously, we have to have a superhero in Cape Town, right?
And what would he look or sound like?
Or she.
Or she. Actually, she. Let's think. We've got the mountain.
Yeah.
We've got Table Mountain. We've got
A cave in Table Mountain. You're welcome. What else?
There we go. Do we have titles for these? I don't know. Maybe think about a title for names for these superheroes. But yeah, so far so good. We're onto something.
Now, before we let you go, there's a lot of kids out there that look at the comic universe and say, I can draw. I'm an illustrator. I've got talent.
Yeah.
I want to do this. But mom and dad are saying, no, go study something else. Go get a real job. How did you manage to get around those hoops?
That's that's multifaceted question because obviously there's so many things that inform it. But I think now, those sentiments come from the world that came before social media, before platforms that we get to broadcast what we can do.
Yeah.
So you can, for anyone who wants to create comic books, their own unique work, the opportunities now are far ahead and far more than 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So use me as an example. You saw many people at Artist Alley. Take a walk over here. I'd suggest you do, because there are people with that who had initially that same fear, that I don't know, will I live up to the expectation of my folks? You don't know unless you try. And I think we've got a whole community that's actually here.
Yeah.
If anything, this is proof that there is space for someone like you as a comic book creator to do your work and share it with us.
There's a market.
There's a market.
Okay.
And a growing market. So from nothing.
So 2015, Kwezi is born, but in 2021, he also did some work for DC Comics.
That's correct. So
Wow.
the upward trajectory is that you're putting out work and you don't know who's looking. That's the truth. And what happens, there's this exponential growth that you get to experience. And DC reached out to me in 2020 and got to read a script for Batwing. And that was amazing. It was an amazing opportunity to showcase my work and my talent to the broader global market. And from that, I've been working with Cameron Johnson, who isn't here, but he was the writer on the actual comic book.
Yeah.
He also starred as Batwing in the Catwoman series.
Yes.
So we actually ended up collaborating as a result of that on his own project, Tower, which is out at the current moment. So yeah, it's putting yourself out there. I know this kind of sounds like airy-fairy, but trust me, like the work put in is what, it's commensurate to what you get out. It's just like a universal fact.
You can't reap without planting. So plant until something grows.
Plant as much as possible.
Brother man, where do we find you on social media? How do we support you? Where do we buy Kwezi?
Okay, so if you guys have a chance, walk over to Artist Alley. We've got a Kwezi stand, and on social media, reach out to Kwezi_Flyboy on Instagram. That's also on Twitter as well. We actually just opened, we just dropped a TikTok page for Kwezi as well, where we'll be showing not only the comic book, but also behind the scenes. So you'll get to understand the process of what we do. You'll get to meet also my partners on the project, Clyde Beach, who couldn't be here. Mohane Mashifo, who is a fantastic writer and novelist as well. She's also around here somewhere. Come through, support us and what we do. Trust me, this is a big one. Kwezi is definitely going to the stars and back. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Loyiso Mkize. Please let's support Kwezi and help Kwezi grow. Lloyd, love your work, brother man. All the best. And thank you very much for joining us.
This is
What a week.
What a Week. Celebrity guest.
He's worked with weird characters, battled zombies, and even helped fight a power-mad villain. So if he wasn't an actor, he'd qualified to be security guard at the U.S. Senate building. Let's give a WAW welcome to Ross Marquand. Fort Collins, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. You ever heard of it? Anybody? No, probably not.
So, for some odd reason, I end up in Fort Collins, Colorado. Where do you take me?
I wouldn't. There's a nice Walmart there.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of mountains.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right.
That's about it. Yeah.
So your first taste of the stage, you were what, age 9?
Yeah. Well, you did your research, man.
Do you remember the lines that you had to do when you were 9?
No, it was a nativity. It was a Birth of Jesus nativity play, and I had one line and I messed it up. And
What line was that?
I couldn't even tell. That was 30 years ago. So yeah, I don't remember. But yeah,
May I tell you mine quickly?
please.
I was in grade 2. I think I was 7 years old.
Okay.
I was the innkeeper. Mary and Joseph need a place, but it's full. My line was, "We are full. You may use the stable."
Okay.
And Jesus was born.
Oh, and did you get the line wrong?
All of you are welcome.
Yeah, beautiful.
I made it happen. Anyway, let's talk The Walking Dead. So,
Sure.
for 5 seasons, you watched along with all of us. What's going through your mind watching this world unravel in front of us?
I thought that first episode, I remember when my friend, we were very broke. We were all like broke actors and broke, entertainment industry people back in 2010, I guess.
Yeah.
And we saw the preview for Walking Dead. And my friend Miranda was the one friend who had TiVo, which I don't know if you guys had TiVo here, is where you could like record live TV and play it back. And she's like, I heard about this show. We should all get together for Halloween and watch this. And I was like, all right, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And we watched it all together. We're just stunned, speechless, and then immediately looked to each other and said, do you want to watch it again?
Yeah.
We watched that show twice the first night it came out.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan ever since. So going from sitting on my couch watching the show to then being on the show was the most surreal and honestly kind of like, I there's times where I still don't quite believe it actually happened. So it's kind of weird, yeah.
In fact, as one does with a drama or a TV series, we get fully invested in all of the characters. We fall in love with some, we hate others, and we feel like we are growing with them. But the beginning of season 7 was brutal in more ways than one.
Sorry about that.
And you don't have to tell anyone about this. I shed a tear beginning of season 7 because I felt like, how's Abraham gone?
Yeah.
And then Glenn is gone.
Yeah.
We are mourning these characters. What's happening with you guys? Because you've been on set with them all. I mean, friendships and bonds have been formed. Now they're gone.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with such?
Well, in Abraham Cudlitz, he hates when I say this because he's only like 10 years older than me, but he was like a second father to me,
Yes.
And he really just walked me through the ins and outs and gave me so much great advice when I got on the show because it was my first big break,
Yes.
And when he died, I'm on the show, obviously. It was very sad. It was very like we were summoning tears over and over again, but there were a lot of them were very real tears because we were realizing that not only Glenn and Abraham were leaving the show, but Michael and Steven were leaving the show. And luckily, I still get to see them at conventions all the time. But it was hard. It was very hard for the show. Yeah.
And then before you know it, Rick is gone.
But he's still with us. Don't worry. He's still around.
No, but, because for Walking Dead faithful, Rick is like our dad.
Yeah.
Well, after Herschel,
Oh yeah.
Rick is our dad. He's gone. How does that affect morale on set?
Andrew Lincoln was like the most kind, giving actor I think I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
He show up first in. He was the first one in, last one out.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about Rick, I'm sure most of you know this, but he is actually British, or Andy is.
Yeah.
And he never broke character. So when he showed up to set, he was Rick Grimes. He was never. He's a very posh British accent, actually. He sounds like this. He's like, oh, no, lovely to see you. No, it's great to be here. But
Tut.
Tut, exactly, yes. But in real life, he's like, or in the real life of the show, he's like, yeah, how you doing? I'm Rick. How you doing there? You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, he does not drop character at all. It's pretty wild. So, yeah, his dedication is incredible.
So Aaron is in a relationship with Eric. And then Eric is gone.
Yeah.
And we see Aaron evolve and almost become a leader, assume leadership role.
Yeah.
How do you deal with loss at a personal level? And how has loss helped evolve the man that you are?
Me personally?
Yes, personally, yes.
Man, I've had a lot of loss. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of death in my family, but I think you just have to roll with it, I mean, we have to acknowledge that death is a part of life, and I've always just been one that you just have to cherish those people with the memories you have of them, and not let them die with their physical body, but keep them alive in your thoughts. That's always how I've tried to keep my loved ones alive. You know,
Sure.
Yeah. This got heavy. Oh man.
No. I want to bring it back after the next question.
Right.
Popular culture for probably the last 50 years has generally been very conservative and almost not as fully inclusive as it should be.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we're seeing more gay characters. We're seeing more black superheroes. We're seeing inclusivity.
Yeah.
Are we going too fast, or are we going too slow in terms of all of that?
No, I think it's the right amount of inclusion. I mean, we're doing the things that we should have been doing for many years.
Yes.
And for people that are seeing it and being taken aback by it, I think it's just because they're not used to it.
Sure.
You know, but it has always been the goal of, I think, Hollywood to be more inclusive, to challenge themes and to talk about things that are maybe uncomfortable for some people. But it's really important that we keep pushing those boundaries because inclusivity is going to be the thing that makes all of us united around the world, and because we all are one people. You know? So,
do you often feel that burden of being the one that has to be the change that the world needs?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't feel it as a burden. I'm grateful. I'm
Yeah.
grateful I get to play this character. You know, and I hope I get a chance to play a character. I mean, I have no idea if I'll be in any of the spin-offs, but maybe I will.
We need a pretty face, so I think they'll bring you back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any questions regarding The Walking Dead by any chance? Could you please have a mic?
She's very excited. Yeah.
There we go. Please tell us your name and your question.
Hi there, my name is Narnia. Love you, by the way. Thank you now. Mine is a bit of a two-part question, if you don't mind. First,
Let's make it a 3-part question.
if a Walking Dead, as we get to know your character and after it's gone, we see a lot of real, raw emotion. What is going through your mind at the time when you need to channel that emotion? What do you use? And secondly, every actors going to work, being on sets are going to work, right? So you're working with different characters, different people. How do you handle the tension, the conflict, disagreements on set?
That's a great question, man. You know, everyone looks at like the behind the scenes footage of us doing pranks and joking around, and they must think it must be just nonstop fun. And the reality is, that's a hard show to work on. Before COVID, COVID made us have like 12-hour days, so we were not allowed to shoot longer than 12-hour days, no matter what. But normally, before that, we were shooting on average 16 to 17 hours a day, and it doesn't sound maybe that doesn't sound like a lot, but you do that 5 days a week for 7.5 months, you get tired. And like these bags, I earned these bags. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't sleep. You're shooting night shoots, you're shooting day shoots back to back. You're just like you become a zombie, you know. And inevitably, like there are going to be disagreements. But like with any job, you just have to remember that it's bigger than you. Everything is bigger than you. It's all about getting the best episode out there, getting the best show out there. And I think that dedication, even if I had disagreements with everyone on set or anyone for that matter, you would remember that we were all there for a reason, and it was much bigger than you. And I think we all need to remember that as things get more and more challenging in the world, it's more important to take yourself out of whatever situation you're in and remember it's all temporary, first of all, and there's something much bigger than us. Second, yeah. Was that answer your question? Was it? The first one, yeah. Summoning tears and everything and going those dark places, it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be because I just put it in the context of what was happening personally with these people. I was saying goodbye to Tom Payne. I was saying goodbye to Jordan Woods Robinson. I was saying goodbye to Michael Cudlitz and Stephen Yeun. You were literally saying goodbye to these people because even though you see each other every once in a while at conventions, you're probably not going to see them as much. And that's a hard thing, especially when you get along so well with these people. It sucks. It sucks to know that you won't be seeing them as much anymore. Yeah.
So you can imagine how much it sucks for us.
Oh, yeah.
Because we never see you again.
Right.
One more question. Please have a mic. Mike.
Alvin.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Where are you? Okay, right at the back there, yes.
Alvin, first of all, love your character. And second off, I wanted to ask, you're filming a lot of stuff with like snowy ice places, and I wanted to ask, was it very challenging doing all the film in the snow and the ice, but also like your choreography throughout the show. Did you find that challenging, or did you thoroughly enjoy it?
We only had really one episode where we featured it in the snow and the ice, which was really cool. We actually shot it at Tyler Perry Studios, and they had a indoor snow machine kind of, creating fake snow for us all the way on top of us. And it was not at all cold. Like, I mean, they basically had the AC turned up, but, you're still in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's extremely hot most of the time. And we were pretending to be cold, but we were actually burning up because we were wearing so many layers. But I was hoping for more episodes in the snow because there was something about seeing the walkers kind of frozen in the snow and the ice that was really cool visually. And I wish we had done more of that.
Did you enjoy the choreography of like the fights?
Oh, yes. We had some of the best fight choreographers in the business. I mean, a lot of people who worked on Black Panther, a lot of Marvel movies, because Marvel shoots their stuff like 20 minutes down the road from where we shot The Walking Dead. So a lot of those guys, Keith and a lot of other, Monty, came from over there and taught us these amazing fights where I was actually like, this is a little bit too amazing for The Walking Dead. Like, none of us are like ninjas, but like we're fighting like we're proper like soldiers. And I love that stuff. Anytime I get to do fight choreography like that, I'm in,
Boston, and how was working with Pete?
He's great. I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is great because he knows how to turn the screws in real life. So he's a Seattle Seahawks fan. I'm a Denver Broncos fan. Probably doesn't, I mean, I know you guys are more into like rugby and whatnot. Probably doesn't mean as much to you, but in America, football is everything. And his team beat the crap out of my team many years ago, and like really badly at the Super Bowl. And so anytime we had to do a scene where we were going to be like at odds with each other, he would just come up and be like, "Man, your Broncos aren't doing so good this year, are they?" And I was like, I hate you so much. So yeah, he knew how to turn the screws very well. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Now, speaking of Tyler Perry Studios, generally the state of Georgia is behind movie making, series making.
Yeah.
How could our cities, our provinces learn from that?
Oh, man. I mean, the greatest thing Georgia did for its economy was creating these incentives where they were going to get back 25 cents on every dollar. So as long as you're making a movie in Georgia, every dollar you spend, 25 cents come right back to you, which is incredible. So we turned one of the, states that wasn't doing poorly, but they were like kind of middle of the road in terms of economic growth, into one of the most rich states in the entire union. And I think based on what we're hearing, like we're going to stay there for decades and decades.
Yeah.
Every Marvel movie pretty much is shot there. There's like 20 sound stages there that are almost always being occupied by one Marvel movie or Marvel TV show. It's incredible. Yeah. So
speaking Marvel,
yeah,
you are Red Skull, but that wasn't your favorite childhood Marvel character.
No.
Who was?
My favorite childhood character, like a lot of you guys, I think was Wolverine. I mean, X-Men, the animated series for me was like the show that got me into Marvel Comics. And as a kid, I always wanted to be Wolverine, but now after seeing Hugh Jackman play him, I was like, nah, no one can touch that character. He played him so perfectly, I wouldn't even want to go near it,
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll get a chance to play some other Marvel characters. I've got a chance to play Red Skull and Ultron now, and maybe some other ones. We'll see. Yeah.
When did you stop pinching yourself about everything that's happening in your life?
I still have not stopped pinching.
Because I often argue that once it clicks into place, everything happens.
I really haven't stopped pinching myself, and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever wake up and not be extremely grateful, and also kind of in disbelief over the luck that I've had.
Yeah.
I'm just extremely grateful for everything I've been able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are running out of time, but we can't let you go before we talk about the impersonations and impressions that you do.
Okay.
When did you realize that you can be other people's voices?
I guess when I was a kid, my brothers used to beat the crap out of me. I had two older brothers, and to make them not beat me up, I would like try to make them laugh. So that was like a defense mechanism, I think, more than anything.
So what was your go-to voice or impersonation at the time?
To make them laugh, it was probably some cartoon. I used to do Batman as a kid a lot.
Yeah.
Or Darkwing Duck. I don't know if there's any Darkwing Duck.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. All right.
Let's hear your Darkwing Duck.
I don't even know what's a Darkwing. I don't remember how it goes, actually. But a long time ago.
May we do a bit of scenarios, though?
Sure.
Okay, so Donald Trump says he is running again.
Oh.
So Rocky Balboa is trying to convince Donald Trump not to run again.
Oh, wow.
How would that go?
I mean, like, hey, listen, you know, you had a great 4 years, but you got to lay down, listen, you got to give it up. You can't do this anymore. Like, no one wants you to be president anymore.
I disagree. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think everybody wants me to be president again, believe me, okay? The entire world wants me to be president again, believe me, okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
But this...
Liam Neeson is an ambassador for South African tourism. How would Liam Neeson sell this country?
I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're going. But if you haven't considered South Africa, you should.
And finally, Morgan Freeman is closing Comic-Con Cape Town.
Oh. I have to say that this country here is perhaps the most beautiful country I've ever seen in my entire life. And I cannot wait to come back here. Thank you so much.
Do we have time for 2 more questions?
Oh, yeah.
2 more questions. Mike, please.
Yeah. Hello. I love your hat. Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah.
Here, the my question is, what is it like? What big rich
In it. Okay, sure.
when Hidden Hydra was first accused?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like I came in at just the right time on the show because season 4 for me was probably one of the strongest seasons of the show. Like that was the one with the Grove, with the Look at the Flowers episode, which was so messed up, but arguably one of the best episodes of the entire show. And those characters from season 5 onwards, arguably not only the longest lasting characters, but the strongest characters, the ones that were meant to be there, the ones that were meant to survive. You got Rick, Michonne, Daryl, you got all these, and Carol, Maggie, you got all these incredible characters you get to work with. And I'm just very blessed that I got to work with some of the OGs and then some of the newer cast as we got into season 8 and beyond, That's a great question. Oh.
One last question for us.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
How was nothing going? It's just burning here. Fuck about it stank. All of them have been next to me. Station.
Did it seem like we stunk on the set?
Around. It was all in critters. What?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you. Like South Africa seems like it has a very similar climate to Atlanta, but Atlanta is most of the time 100% humidity, and I don't even know what it is in Celsius. Probably like 36, 30, and above. Like, oh, got really loud just then. Sorry. It's extremely hot. So that sweat you're seeing, that's not fake sweat. That's not being sprayed on us. That's all real. And some people don't like to wear deodorant on set. That's all I'm gonna say. So you can use your imagination. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Suspicion. What it does to.
We actually did kill people. Yeah. I still feel mad about it, but you gotta break an egg to make an omelet. You know what I mean?
And
no, I mean, in reality, like we had knives that were cut off at the top with this green tape on it, so the CGI guys could literally put it in there after the fact. It was actually quite padded, so every time we killed somebody, they're like, oh, that felt kind of nice. It was like a massage, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you. We got one more.
But also, what's the zombie apocalypse without the bad smell of rotting flesh and sweat anyway?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll get you in that mindset.
Are you good for one last question?
Of course.
All right, one last question, please. Where's the mic?
Oh.
Right at the back there, yes.
Oh. Hello.
He hoped he turned out to make the fall over the circuit of the Lozen Island, or he has a dizzy kind of or received a massage.
Have I ever been pranked by a zombie? No, but one of the first days it was funny. I don't know about any of you. I heard that a lot of fans who watch the show used to have like crazy nightmares after they watch it. I didn't have nightmares when I watched it as a fan, but when I got on the show, the first like week or so, I started having these crazy nightmares because I just kept seeing zombies over and over again in my dreams. But then like on my second episode, we go into the cafeteria, we're all having lunch, and one of the zombies sits in front of me, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he goes, oh, 1 second, and he takes out his dentures. He goes, and it just these slimy, slobbery dentures. He puts it on the table. He goes, oh, sorry, I'm Eli. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm never going to be scared of a zombie ever again. That was the most dorky thing I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, it's funny when you realize that there's actually real people behind them. All the scare, the fear or anything else just goes away. Yeah. So, thank you.
Guys, unfortunately, we are out of time. Ross, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Love your work. You've got massive, legion of fans in this country. And keep up the great work, man.
Thank you.
What's next for Ross? Where can we find you next?
The thing I'm most excited about, I definitely cannot talk about. It's so good. It's so good, but it'll probably be announced in the next few months. But I can definitely say that season 2 and 3 of Invincible is coming out later this year. If you guys are fans of that, I hope if you haven't seen it, watch Invincible. It's the same guy who did Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
Episodes of Beavis and Butthead, Family Guy, American Dad, Robot Chicken, and some great movies I'm working on as well. So, yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Marquand.
Thanks, guys. That's it. Right here, buddy.
And we're done. Wow, what a week, the Comic-Con edition. Cinematography by the Africa Podcast Network. Shout out Comic-Con Cape Town for hosting us. Pezulu Works, your editing, always amazing. And our audio engineer, Otis The Flow Fraser. Shout out to our guest, Ross Marquand, Loyiso Mkize, and Jason R. Moore. Show producer, Kelezo Mudisake, and creative director, Kuvesh Mohan. You can get in touch at waw@africapodcastnetwork.com. Another week of interesting answers and amusing moments, with a spoonful of geekness this time, which allows me a chance to show my inner nerd off. Since we attended Comic-Con, and that this past 4th of May was International Star Wars Day, I'd like to end off by saying, may the 4th and the Force be with you always. Have a Sith-free as well as a WAW week ahead. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. In spite of yourselves.
This is WAW! What a